There's some discoveries in 2024 that made me think, time to play something else. This is what I'm talking about. Actually, I'd probably be better off playing a different kind of football. Not that kind of football. UFL is a free-to-play football game available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S now, and on PC later this year. UFL enters the field of soccer simulation as one of the first challengers in decades to the industry's established leaders, and it makes a hell of an entrance with a full AAA experience with next-gen graphics powered by Unreal 5. It also has a great soundtrack, slick presentation, and fun gameplay that's easy to pick up for everyone. The game also includes team customization and club management, and even has ambassadors like Cristiano Ronaldo. If you know who that is, that should tell you UFL is the real deal. Find out how UFL is reshaping the world of soccer video games and check out UFL today. Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas, released in 2010, is considered by fans to be one of the best games in the Fallout series, and one of the best RPGs of all time. Despite how acclaimed Fallout New Vegas is, there are some parts of the game that fans would probably rather forget, and I'm not talking about the many glitches Bethesda's known for. Rather, I'm talking about a mod of the game that released in 2015, which added frontman of Limp Bizkit Fred Durst as a companion in the game, who only talked in Limp Bizkit sound clips when you interacted with them. Unfortunately, it was not his way or the highway, as this mod disappeared from Nexus Mods in 2017. And more bad news for Limp Bizkit fans who wanted to do this for the Nookie, as the creator of the mod said they reformatted their computer and wouldn't be able to recover the files for the mod. However, that changed in 2024 when Usagi Kola on Twitter revealed that they archived and restored the mod, also sharing the link for anyone who wanted to download it. And it turns out Fred Durst himself gives his approval, retweeting the announcement with "nice." Yeah, seems like even Fred Durst is at a loss for words, which is pretty much where I'm at too. Stranglehold. Thanks to ButterDogeStarWars for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader Discord. Stranglehold released in 2007 on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Windows, being one of iconic developer Midway's last games before they went under in 2009. Stranglehold was modeled as a sequel to John Woo's 1992 film Hard Boiled, with the actor Chow Yun-fat reprising his lead role from the movie. The game also touted a system that Midway called Massive D, which is of course short for Massive Destruction, as you could destroy nearly every object in the environment in the game's chaotic shootouts. Among those objects are whiskey bottles, and ButterDogeStarWars revealed that while you can't read the text on the bottle in-game, its specular map texture file in the data, which determines the object's reflectiveness, has much more readable text. Well, sort of. As it says, "This is the bottle level design I created for the Stranglehold, which wasn't so easier than I thought." Well, I at least get what they were trying to say. There's also another message in the corner that says Stranglehold will be sold more than 5 millions, which unfortunately Stranglehold did not sell more than 5 millions, as Stranglehold only sold about 1 million copies, which may have contributed to Midway going bankrupt 2 years later, and Stranglehold's planned sequel getting canned, which is a shame because Stranglehold is a pretty dope game. That's why this one makes this list, as all this discovery does is remind us of what could have been. That and the fact that it appears to be a pretty bad translation. Sam and Max, The Devil's Playhouse. Thanks to Altruistic Knight for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader Reddit. The Devil's Playhouse is a 2010 adventure game from Telltale, featuring the two paranormal investigator husbands. That's canon. I recently covered an unsolved alternate reality game in the title, where the Nutrispec glasses that scan items to reveal what they're made of were found only in the PlayStation 3 version. Using the Nutrispecs to scan this Abe Lincoln head led players to a mysterious website snmsecretfile.com, where they were promised they'd find something that was good for them, but it ultimately led to Jack. To give a quick update on this, the developers of the remaster that released this year confirmed that Nutrispecs are hidden deep within all versions of the remaster this time, but that the ARG will never be solved, as it was never finished, which is why the secret file website led to nothing. Well, so much for that. However, Altruistic Knight made a discovery in the original game that may be cause for more concern, as Altruistic Knight was data mining the files of the game when they found this image they didn't recognize. What happened to Max? Altruistic Knight asked the game developers about the image on the Sam and Max Discord server, and even they had no idea where the Dark Max image came from. If this image was in any way part of the incomplete ARG, maybe it's a good thing it was never finished, as I'd rather not have to see my favorite investigative rabbit stare back at me like he's ready to suck up my soul. Baldur's Gate 3. With a game that won so many Game of the Year awards, it might be surprising to see this on a Worst of the Year list. However, data miners found something in the files of the game after patch 7, discovering 2 cut evil ending variations that are very not evil. Now I'm going to talk about one of the game's official endings here, but this is a game with over 17,000 endings, so the 2 unused ending variations would have taken place after the player faces off with the game's final enemy, and then chooses to take control of the Netherbrain, an act that makes the player character the new absolute, meaning they're now a tyrant with control of everyone enslaved by the Netherbrain. When choosing this ending, the game normally ends here. However, by removing the impossible tag in the game data, SlimX on YouTube found 2 unused options that players were never meant to see. In these endings, instead of doing anything interesting after becoming the absolute, the player simply removes the parasite you've been trying to remove all game and then leaves, either by yourself or with your party, with everybody looking on wondering where the hell you're going. It's an ending that makes sense why it was cut, considering you went through all the work of becoming the absolute, and then you apparently think, F it. Rabbids Go Home. Thanks to UnchainedTrooper, DuckyMomo360, MobYoongi, and Cukier for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader website and Discord. Rabbids Go Home released in 2009, featuring the rabbit characters from the Rain Man series. In the game, players help the lovable but dumb rabbits achieve their goal of returning home by collecting enough junk to create a pile large enough to reach the moon. Players could also collect accessories to customize the rabbit's look, or unlock special skins for the rabbit through secret codes, such as the Kangaroo Rabbit or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rabbit. Most of these secret codes came with pre-orders or special editions of the game, or tied to other Ubisoft franchises like Assassin's Creed, while players who had access to the codes shared them to make the skins unlockable to more players. One of the last secret skins remained unknown for years. What the skin looked like and its purpose remained a mystery until 2024, when DuckyMomo360 on my Discord server and their friend Eggs Can't Fly data mined it from the files of the game. And the secret skin players had been waiting 15 years to see was just an Amazon promotion. As if we don't already see enough Amazon these days. Alright, corporate conglomerate rabbit. Yay. The Price of Flesh. The Price of Flesh is a survival horror visual novel that released in 2022 for Windows. In the game, players take on the role of someone being sold at an auction to the highest bidder, with 3 different game paths depending on who wins the auction. As you'd expect, none of the bidders have good intentions, and the player must endure either being hunted, locked in a basement, or surviving in the desert. I'd rather play the Fred Durst mod. The game also has an optional content mode that can be turned on at the beginning, which includes more graphic depictions of the game's horror and more suggestive scenarios. However, in 2024, data miners made an even more surprising discovery in the files of The Price of Flesh, as in the data of the game, there is an unused audio file titled Sound Effects Secret or. Now, despite what you would expect of this name, I should be able to play this file on YouTube without any issue. That's because playing the clip reveals a woman that says,
"I figured that file name would get you. You're not supposed to be."
Most anticlimactic discovery of the year. I mean, with a title like this, I was definitely expecting some sort of climax. Cyberpunk 2077. Seeing Cyberpunk on this list maybe isn't the most surprising thing in the world, considering the countless times it's been covered on the channel. One player, however, managed to finally achieve something in the game players have been wanting to see for years, but with a pretty major caveat. In the beginning of the game, the protagonist V makes friends with the mercenary Jackie Wells. Jackie's been a fan favorite despite barely being in the game, as he gets his ass killed in the mission The Heist no matter what choices the player makes. However, that finally changed in 2024, as Yuta Katik Mobile on Reddit found they could break the mission to finally save Jackie. Both the charge jump and dash in midair perks, they were able to run around to areas of the game that aren't normally accessible, which allowed them to leave Jackie on the first floor of the hotel, run along the rooftops, jump to the water below, swim to the other side, and run back to Konpeki Plaza, where they left Jackie. From there, they stole a car and drove to the Night City border, jumped over the wall, and stole another car to ride off with Jackie into the desert. Now Jackie's free to live out the rest of his days, doing nothing, as the game's softlocks here being forever stuck in the heist mission. Yeah, you saved Jackie, but you also ruined your save game in the process. Talk about the true power of friendship. Not sure how much this counts as actually saving him though, considering you're stuck staring at each other for eternity. Destiny 2. Destiny 2 released in 2017, recently updated with the Final Shape expansion in June 2024. Bungie designed the expansion to finish off the Light and Darkness saga they began with the first Destiny game back in 2014. However, players made a discovery in the Final Shape that seems to indicate that the saga may still need a little work. As in the episode Revenant in the Whisper Exotic mission, the name of the boss Tolgor, Aspect of Agony, for some reason shows up for certain players as Jimmy, Aspect of Placeholding. Who the hell's Jimmy? Consider me Oddheader, Aspect of Confusion. Well, after a decade leading up to the expansion, we finally get to fight a placeholder. Starsky and Hutch. Thanks to BigBoyAdvance for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader Discord. Starsky and Hutch is a vehicular combat game from 2003, based on the detective TV show from the 70s of the same name. Reviews were not great on the console versions, while reviews on the Game Boy Advance were even worse, usually citing the game's terrible controls. And just when you think things couldn't get any worse, BigBoyAdvance made a discovery in the Game Boy edition that makes it seem like the developers were on a mission to make this the worst game possible. In the game, players can unlock a minigame called Chicken Chase, where you run around collecting chickens with the goal to get 266 chickens before the timer runs out. BigBoyAdvance was playing the game with a friend and managed to collect 264 chickens, but ended up enormously frustrated because they couldn't find the last 2 chickens anywhere. Big Boy then did a brute force hack trying to locate the missing chickens, and found they're in an inaccessible area near a gate with the number 51, which I guess is a reference to Area 51? How exactly were players ever supposed to find these chickens? Not only is Area 51 inaccessible, it's also behind 2 barriers that players can't pass through, making it seem like the developers really went out of their way to make this minigame unbeatable. Big Boy said they tried smashing into everything around the area in an attempt to glitch their way in, but unfortunately had no luck. So unless anyone finds a way past these barriers, it goes without saying that this discovery is extra terrible. Dead Trigger 2. Thanks to Kalipso Animation for submitting this discovery through Oddheader.com. Dead Trigger 2 is a zombie survival horror mobile game released in 2013, which also released later on Facebook. It's a pretty standard zombie shooter game, where players must fight off waves of zombies with a variety of weapons available. However, what is unusual about the game is a discovery Kalipso found in the files. As in the game's data, a spawn point for one of the zombies is labeled as Spawn Point NPC. Well, let's just say a word that rhymes with one of the words in the title of the game. And I think that's all I need to say to label this one as one of the worst discoveries of the year. And thanks again to UFL for sponsoring this video. I was thoroughly impressed by UFL with its killer presentation. I played it on my PlayStation 5 Pro, and as a PlayStation Pro enhanced game, I was struck by the quality of everything, like the realism of the players as they walked onto the field with the crowd noises in my surround speakers, or the lively celebration animations. This is the sort of thing other soccer titles skimp on, so it's refreshing to see that here. I also like the game's fair-to-play design that makes it as accessible to everyone as possible. The simple gameplay focuses more on the fun factor than complex simulation, which I prefer, although the potential for complexity is here as well. The game's online play matches you with equally skilled players, featuring ongoing content, multiple modes, and new challenges. And right now with the Adidas Team Pass, you can get exclusive stadium gear and franchises. Completing quests can get you unique rewards and real-world perks like 15% discount on Adidas items. And also now UFL is offering a Mystic Pack, with each bundle guaranteeing premium player skins, league points, and boosts to enhance customization and progression. They're optional extras for players who want a personal touch while enjoying the core experience completely free. Find out how UFL is reshaping the world of soccer video games and check out UFL today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and if you know of any other discoveries that you think I may have missed, submit through Oddheader.com, come join the Discord, or even send me a shout through Twitter or Reddit. Shout out to Aaron Johnston, Angel the Fox, Ash Photography, BitWiff27, Black EV50, Chad Biscuits, Eddie Talkspin the Bleach Primid, Flex, Jailbreak, Kieran Bolton, Nat XD, The Meatly, Phoenix157, Rackman22, Riley S, Robert Eisenman, Select, Subrock, and Terrence Stock for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.